Do you feel that Scout learns anything in this book? Yes, I feel that Scout learned many things from the other residents of Maycomb. Scout learns many life lessons from other residents, like from Miss Caroline. She learns to not judge a person until you walk in their shoes, and from Miss Maudie to always be optimistic. How can you tell? I could tell that Scout matured a bit because she always learns many things from her experience with the life lessons. Like, now she doesn't judge other people without thinking of their viewpoints, and she always looks on the good side and all that good stuff.
When Tom is being cross-examined by Mr. Gilmer, he says, "I felt right sorry for her. Why was this a mistake?"
It was a mistake for Tom to say that he was sorry for Mayella because in that time in the South, black people were seen as less superior than white people. Nobody liked his answer because he was saying that he was equal or even better than a white person.
To Kill a Mockingbird is about a man who tries to change things. Was he successful?
Well, success in this situation comes very gradually. As a whole, he was not very successful because Maycomb still found Tom guilty, but he was one step closer in bringing Maycomb to equality, since Mr. Cunningham tried to convince the jury that he was innocent. Although it didn't work, he's still one person closer. Atticus also gave a very convincing argument when he was trying to convince everyone that he was innocent. He gave a long speech about racial equality, and it really made the town think about their decisions.
Do you feel that Scout learns anything in this book? If so, what? How can you tell? What evidence is given in the book that shows she has grown?
At the end of chapter 9, Scout stated that it was not till the end of the conversation that Scout wanted her to hear the whole entire conversation he gave to Jack. This gives her true personality of Atticus and how he uses intelligence to give Scout a boost of confidence. I hope to bring up my kids with this boost of confidence and how they go throughout their lives.
Atticus Finch is considered one of the great characters in American literature. Why do you think that is? I think it is because he stood up for an African American man even though he knew he was going to lose the case. And he knew he was going to lose the case because it was very segregated back then. There's a lot of racial issues, so when it's an African American man's word over a white man's word, people are most likely going to choose the white man. But even though he knew he was going to lose, he didn't give up. He kept fighting for the African American man because he knew he was innocent and he didn't care about race or skin color. He's also another reason why he's a great character in American literature is because he raised two brilliant, open-minded children in a troubled time. He also looks past his own imperfections and at those of others, knowing that there's much more at stake than some little mistakes.
What allows some individuals to take a stand against prejudice/oppression while others choose to participate in it?
Being able to have your own viewpoint despite how or where you were raised. For example, Atticus and Aunt Alexandra were raised on the same roof, but while Atticus chooses to stand up against being prejudiced, Aunt Alexandra sticks with the crowd. Other characters like Dolphus Raymond and Miss Maudie aren't prejudiced because they have their own viewpoint, despite growing up and being raised like every other townsperson.
Kill a Mockingbird has been read in English language art classes for decades. Considering that many books come and go in public schools curricula, why does this book endure?
Well, for many reasons. One reason is it addresses relevant problems in today's society. That problem is racism. One person in the book protests against racism, and in doing so, he protests against almost everyone in the city. That one person is Atticus, and he is protesting against racism. Another reason is many books have one moral, and since being told from the point of view of a child, this book has many morals that include Miss Caroline, Miss Maudie, and Calpurnia. Since being told from a child, each life lesson can be told out in great detail.
How does labeling and stereotyping influence how we look at and understand this book?
Labeling and stereotyping helps us view our point of views on the world because let's say there's a job offer and there's two races competing. The other race might get the upper hand on that job because of the race. We put labels on people because it helps us comprehend who they actually are, even though we don't know their true personality.
Why did Harper Lee elect a child to tell this story?
Harper Lee elected a child to tell the story because it shows her childhood and the Great Depression. The child doesn't have much experience, so the narrator can develop the main character, Scout, with first-hand experience and new life lessons.
Would the story have been as effective if another character had told the story?
It wouldn't be as effective if another character told the story because most of the other characters already have their life experience, while Scout and Jem are really young and they're experiencing these things at first times.
Rank in order for the responsibility of Tom's death: Bob Ewell, Mr. Gilman, Mayella Ewell, individuals on the jury, and Paul Robinson.
Bob Ewell would come first because he beat Mayella and lied that Tom had raped her. Second would be Mayella for lying that Tom had raped her as well. Third would be the jury because even after Atticus' speech where he showed that there wasn't one iota of evidence, the jury still chose guilty. Fourth would be Tom Robinson. It wasn't his fault for trying to be nice to Mayella, but if he did try to run away and escape, then he would be responsible for that part of his death. Next would come Mr. Gilmer. He was just trying to do his job, even if it was morally wrong.
How do Scout, Jem, and Bill characterize Boo Radley at the beginning of the book?
In the beginning of the book, Boo is characterized as a insane mental person. He's isolated and kind of outcasted.
In what way does Boo foreshadow his method of protecting Jem and Scout from Bob Ewell?
It shows that when he protects them, he'll kind of go unnoticed. And like when he bit off his father's finger, he'll have one big outbreak where he saves Jem and Scout.
Does this repetition of aggression make him more or less of a sympathetic character?
Yes, it does make him more sympathetic because it's like he's bottling up all his emotions for a long period of time, and then at one moment he lets it all out in one big great event.